He possessed a third-rate extra villain character in his favorite game. He have no ambitions and he just want to live a quiet life. But sheesh, this world is a hard place to survive in. He will survive to the ending of this story, in a way the protagonist cannot. He will survive in the way of a third-rate villainous character. Back then, he could not even have imagined a future like this. As if it was not enough that he had to return to school at this age, he ended up fighting monsters. And who would have thought he would become friends with these little ones? This guy is the protagonist of this story, Taylor Mclore. And he is a third-rate villain of this story. Originally, he was supposed to be a worthless nobody who did not even appear much in the story. But third-rate characters have their unique third-rate ways. He don't need anyone's understanding. In a way impossible for the protagonist, in the way of the third-rate villain. For the sake of reaching the end of this story, he must survive. And this manhwa name is the Extras Academy Survival Guide. So, then let's start the manhwa. In starting of this manhwa we see the ruffian son of a high-ranking noble family. Then we see the villain of this story, who is sitting in his room, and he is reading a letter. And now reigning over the academy like a king. And it is written in the letter, the sin of using imprudent profanity in the presence of the Honorable Princess Venia, the sin of wrongfully meddling in the Holy Sylvania Academy entrance exam, the sin of disregarding decency, and the sin of smearing the family name, blinded by jealousy, are all sins that cannot be taken lightly. And Roth Taylor is saying, in short, are they removing me from the family register? It feels like the god of fate is ridiculing me. After this, Roth Taylor is thrown out of the dorm room, and Roth Taylor doesn't know where to go now. And also when Roth Taylor's classmates see him, they say about him, look, isn't that Ed Roth Taylor? What's the point of walking on eggshells around him now? Apparently, he was disowned, so he's even empty his dorm room. Then we won't see him next semester, huh? He shouldn't have rigged the entrance exam in the first place. Filthy noble. I knew this would happen, and Roth Taylor is very disappointed with himself. Honestly, this is unfair. Because the arrogant Roth Taylor, you people are talking about. And tears are coming from Roth Taylor's eyes, he is not able to understand what is happening to him. Then Roth Taylor tells us his story, how he came into this world, and he says I entered a game. Based in the magic school. Sylvania Academy. My favorite game. The failed swordsman of the Sylvania. Usually, when you enter a game inside Webtoons, you possess either the first son of a Chable, a genius ruffian young clan master, or a SSS rank hunter character who breaks the rules. Of all the possibilities, I'm a third-rate villain who gets kicked out of the dorms at the beginning of the game. I possess the worst of characters at the worst of timing. But nothing is going right with Roth Taylor. And in the middle of the way Roth Taylor is shouting, this isn't fair. You can't be serious. I've always lived a frugal and simple life without any greed. And Roth Taylor's classmates overhear his words, and one of them says, look at him. He's saying it's unfair after everything he has done. He's saying he's frugal and simple. That scumbag. And a girl says on Roth Taylor's face, shameless. And Roth Taylor becomes silent after listening to their words. Then Roth Taylor's classmates leave that place. And Roth Taylor is looking at his state. Roth Taylor's condition is very bad. And he is looking at his face in a mirror, and Roth Taylor is surprised, then he is saying, but the reason Roth Taylor is the worst starts now. Roth Taylor is saying after seeing his state, even the farmer NPC had a stamina of 5. He's attending the faculty of magic, yet his intellect is crawling on the floor, and that stamina is just way too low, even for a noble. No wonder. He was originally just a third-rate trashy villain who appears in the early scenarios. Even in my memory, he's basically a blur. I can't even recall what happened to him later on in it. But then Roth Taylor remembers something. In a corner of the ending credits, he was begging, looking like a damn bum. No surprise there. The ruffian who knew nothing about the world was suddenly thrown onto the streets, so he's lucky he's even alive. Why was it me? How did I possess this body? I don't know the reason for this, nor do I have any way to find out. But I won't let that be my ending. I'm going to make it no matter what. Rather than a school, the academy is closer to being a city with the entire Arkan Mountains as its premises. This place is in the northeast of the academy, the undeveloped forest. I was trying to escape the prying eyes of the students, and ended up walking for half a day. That's plenty of time to understand the situation I'm in. At the point when Ed was just disowned, it was the extreme starting part of the scenario. Fortunately, even though he was disowned by his family, he had not been expelled from the school yet. This is extremely important, because in the setting, Sylvania Academy is a top-notch academy. As long as you graduate from it, you are guaranteed a secure future, and as long as the game is set in the academy, I can use the intel of a 5-time dedicated player of the game to its fullest. That means if I just graduate quietly, I can live a way more comfortable and awesome life than the one I left behind in the past world. So obviously, my goal is to graduate. The issue is the enormous tuition fees. This semester must already be paid for, so if I can just get a scholarship for the next semester. With his stats, can I get the scholarship? I think LD be lucky to not flunk. I can think about the tuition later, but first, I gotta think about the urgent matter. Things I need to survive right now. Then Roth Taylor puts the suitcase down and opens it. Then Roth Taylor is saying, for around the next week. How can I avoid turning into a bum? And there are some items inside the suitcase, like showy clothing, ceremonial dagger and ornamental cup. But there is no state for these things. And looking at all the clothes, he said, Roth Taylor is saying, I have enough clothes. As for food and shelter, the problem is I don't have a place to stay or food to eat tonight. Given this guy's reputation, it'll be hard to get a job. I can't go to the dorm I was kicked out of either, so I guess I'm stuck here in the woods for the time being. I'm glad there's at least a stream nearby. 10 days until school starts. Until then, let's make myself suitable for attending school. And Roth Taylor uses the Windblade spell, which allows him to chop some wood, thankfully. He can use spells. It is fascinating, though. Am I seriously exhausted to death after cutting just 15 tree trunks? Damn it, this only made me hungrier. It's not that useful. At least feed me before you kick me out. Do you get hungry when you use magic? I'm hungry. Very hungry. I remembered something my grandfather told me when I was young. When barley humps hit when he was a boy, he said he'd eat tree bark in the back mountains. And Roth Taylor lights the fire using the ignition. And he is boiling tree bark. Anything edible is good for me. And Roth Taylor is speaking after looking at the tree bark. Oh, if you don't look closely, it looks like chicken breast. Then Roth Taylor starts eating tree bark, but Roth Taylor finds its taste very bad. Then half a day passes, and Roth Taylor is still collecting wooden barks, but due to hunger, Roth Taylor's body has become weak and he is saying, after starving for a day and throwing up for 2, I came to the conclusion that wood should be used for building homes. First, you need to raise the frame that supports the wood. I only have 2 hands, but there are 4 supports. This really isn't an easy job. And the wood falls on Roth Taylor, due to which Roth Taylor starts getting very angry. And he starts tying the wood again. The shelter's frame is finally complete. Still a long way to go. I can't sleep on the bare ground, after all. It's kind of a waste, but it's not like I have a choice. Then Roth Taylor goes to sleep. And the next morning he wakes up, but Roth Taylor is saying, Ha! This is fierce, I tell you, fierce. I barely managed to finish it. And as soon as Roth Taylor finishes making the shelter, he gets a notification, and it is written, Your creation is complete. Your crafting proficiency has increased. New completed project, basic wood shelter. A shelter where you can rest for a while. It is crude and shabby. Without constant maintenance, it will outlive its usefulness in no time. Crafting difficulty. Life skills details rank novice craftsman. Specialty none. Handiness level 4. Design level 1. Gathering ability level 1. But Roth Taylor is sad after seeing the system notification, and he says, so the crafting system's popping up as his too, huh? Ed lived his life as a noble, so he may not have known. He is more talented with his hands than with magic. And right now, I need that handiness. After this, Roththaler gets a notification, a new completed project. Simple harpoon, a ceremonial dagger strapped to a well-sharpened tree trunk. It can be used for fishing or hunting, but it lacks sharpness. Crafting difficulty. And Roththaler has made a harpoon, and he wants to do hunting with the help of a harpoon, and he says, let's get something proper to eat. 2 days on an empty stomach. Excessive physical labor. I definitely shouldn't be able to move right now, yet it must be desperation that is keeping me moving. I want to eat meat. Roththaler has finally caught 2 fishes, and with the help of ignition Roththaler is cooking the fishes. A week until school starts. I just have to hold out as I am right now. If I simply manage to hold out until then, I'll be able to get through school without much trouble. Then suddenly Roththaler hears a voice, and Roththaler looks back, but Roththaler is saying, I was so busy surviving that I forgot something important. And a girl comes behind Roththaler, and seeing her, Roththaler recognizes who she is. And Roththaler says she is the main character, but of all the people, I didn't expect to run into her over here. And Roththaler remembers that this girl had kept Roththaler tied with the help of her guard. And that girl's guard had brought Roththaler to this girl. And this girl had told Roththaler to disappear from this academy. And the name of this girl is Princess Phinia. And this girl tells Roththaler that you have not left this place yet. And this is the person who kicked Roththaler out of the dorms. Roththaler is a villain that appears as soon as you start the game. Using his status as a noble, he hits on the Moe's childhood friend, only to end up being punished. Not stopping there, with a vengeful heart, Ed maliciously adjusts the MC's entrance exam for Sylvania Academy, but is then caught by a girl who came to take the entrance exam while hiding her identity, Fionia Elias Clole. Clole Empire's third princess. The Princess of Phinia. And Princess Phinia activates her skill, and Princess Phinia's skill is insight. Detecting the target's lies and conspiracies. Roththaler, who was caught in a sad state, gritting his teeth making excuses, had all of his lies exposed by Fionia's insight, and then chased out of the dorms. Everyone at the academy may hate Roththaler, and Princess Phinia is saying to Roththaler, what are you doing here? But he met someone that you shouldn't meet the most. And Princess Phinia says, you're saying that the academy isn't expelling you? And Roththaler says, it's just, I still am a student here. But I was still chased out of the dorms. And Princess Phinia says, I'll keep my word short. Princess Phinia shouts at Roththaler asking him to leave this place, and she further says, I can't stand to see a shameless person like you around this school. I will talk to them academic department and personally request your expulsion. For the crime of committing a dishonorable act as a student of the academy. For the crime of setting up a fellow student in an attempt to block their path to a better future. Roththaler is not bothered by Princess Phinia's words, he is thinking about his food. Burning. It's burning. After starving for 3 days, my precious food, while the burning food is an issue, I thought you were going to keep it short. This is a life crisis in many ways. This person, Phinia's princess, really has the power to get me expelled. Since that's the case. Then Roththaler says to Princess Phinia, the sun will set soon. Aren't the royalty always guarded by heavily armed soldiers? To think that a noble princess would come to an isolated forest like this alone. Princess Phinia gets angry after listening to Roththaler, and she says, if you're trying to threaten me knowing that I don't have escorts, then you will regret it. And Roththaler says, what do you mean threaten? Then Roththaler bends down on his knees in front of Princess Phinia, then he says, I'm simply trying to thank the princess. And Princess Phinia activates her skill insight. And she starts checking whether Roththaler is lying or telling the truth. And when she checks she finds that Roththaler is telling the truth, there are no lies within Roththaler's words. And Princess Phinia gets shocked after knowing that Roththaler is telling the truth. And Roththaler also notices that Princess Phinia is surprised. The Roththaler family that Ed belongs to is famous and influential. But using that name to exploit the citizens and doing human experiments for research into eternal life, to the MC, it's a trash family that is destined to be destroyed. The people of the family will all be imprisoned or executed. However, I was disowned. I may be cold and hungry right now, but it's still better than dying. In the long run it's rather good. So I need to convince Phinia like this without lying, or else I'll be expelled. No, I would be game over. Looking at the timeline, around when Rothstaler is expelled, right now should be about a week before the schools start. Then what would be the reason for the princess to be here? And Rothtaler is saying, having come here without any escort, and in simple clothing means, you must be completing the class placement test. And we are told, quest Professor Glass's class placement test. It's a test to find magic beads hidden in the forest. And Rothtaler is saying, Professor Glass's test is known to be quite vicious. Of course, if it's the noble Princess Phinia, you'll be aiming for the best class, which would be the Class A. But Princess Phinia says, are you trying to flatter me? You haven't changed a bit. As expected, I should request the Academy to expel you right dash. But Rothtaler comes closer to Princess Phinia, then tells her, but without my help, you will never be able to enter Class A. If my words are a lie, then you can have me expelled. Then Rothtaler tells Princess Phinia, if you go to the lake at the southeast of the forest, there will be a small grassy island. There will be a giant tree in the middle of that island. That tree is called the Marilda's Guardian Tree. There, you will find the present I had left. And Princess Phinia is thinking about Rothtaler. The Rothstaler from 3 days ago was definitely a liar and a charlatan. I still vividly remember that sad state. However, the Rothstaler just now. After this the scene shifts, and we see the academy. And a professor is saying, the class placement test has officially ended. Take out the beads you have acquired. And his name is Glass, and he's a magic professor. And the students bring the bead, and looking at the students' bead the Glass says to them, all of you will start from Class F. It is important to take note of the examiner's intent in a test. This test isn't just about finding any magic bead. And the Glass says those who found beads that were lacking in magic power are the only ones to make Class A. Only 3 of you found this type of bead. 6. Lortel. And finally the one who found a bead at Guardian Tree of Marilda that had unusually high magic power. You there, who found the hidden bead, you shall be at the top of the class. After this the scene shifts towards Rothtaler. And Rothtaler is sitting near the lake, and he is saying, it's all burned. I don't even have the strength to use a spear anymore. And Rothtaler has created something and the system is telling about it. A new creation, crude fishing rod. Made by cutting off twigs from the tree trunk with a dagger, silk thread taken from the fabric, and replacing the needle with a small nail. The durability is low and hard to tell if a fish has bitten. Crafting difficulty dash. The third princess of the empire, Phoenicia Elias Clole, since she was young, Princess Phinia has seen through flattery and sophistry, thus sharpening her insight, which led to the creation of her innate skill. No one can ever escape from her insight. As such, there was no choice but to give her authentic information. But that also leads to a greater problem. The reason why prideful Princess Phinia will come to be called the Princess of Love, after facing failure during the class placement test, falling to Class F, would then begin to change. However, if Phionia, who has great influence over the early scenario, finds the golden bead and enters Class A, the scenario of the original story would collapse. Even if I manage to avoid being expelled, all the information I would have will then become useless. I'll be done for. Of course, top of the class, Lucy Merrill. The future might still not change. On the other hand, Princess Phinia is thinking, insight will always see the truth. There really is a bead. Rothstaler didn't lie. Though, this isn't a present. And Rothtaler is thinking, why did Princess Phinia hide her identity in the first place? She was embarrassed of the special treatment she would be receiving had her identity was exposed. She wanted to prove herself. She knew just by seeing the bead that it would offer the best results in the test. But Phinia couldn't take that bead, as finding it would be something that she didn't accomplish on her own. The title, Princess of Love, she would receive in the future, is not a skill or stat, but a title she would gain by walking the righteous path. I threw bait at the princess. Whether it was the truth or a lie likely didn't matter. The princess can always discern which it is, even if Roththaler really believed that the princess would fail the test. She had confidence in succeeding and rubbing it in his face. However, Roththaler did not lie, as she wasn't able to enter Class A. The princess now, and Princess Phinia is saying, Roththaler, I will keep my eyes on you. Could no longer do anything. And Roththaler has caught a big fish with a fishing rod. After this, Roththaler is saying, I may be living in a place where I have to start running from early in the morning to get to school on time. Roththaler gets tired of running, then looking ahead, he says, but I'm back, at Sylvania Academy. Then Roththaler enters the school. And an announcement is being made in the school. The school opening ceremony shall now begin. It is nice to see that the students have made progress before starting this new semester. Enjoy the food prepared while listening. Also, our Sylvania Academic Society has been. And some students are looking at Roththaler and saying about him, ugh. Just look at him. How did he have the face to come to the opening ceremony? Does he really intend to continue attending here? Roththaler is not bothered by their words, and is eating his food and saying, I could hear the sweet whispers that welcomed me, who had survived. This is the reward for the victor. Let's enjoy it slowly. The goal is graduation. But students are still talking about Roththaler, and they all are saying, isn't that Roththaler? The second year that showed a sorry state during the entrance exam? If you look closely, he feels a bit different. He sure eats quite mannerly. And Roththaler is saying, I don't have any ambitions, I just want to graduate. And the girls are saying, I heard that there's desserts made by the head chef of Ophelis at the table over there. Let's go eat it together. We can also talk about what happened over the vacation. What do you think, Anis? Sounds good, Clara. But a girl is looking at Roththaler, and she is saying, that's strange. Somehow, he feels like a different person. And Roththaler is thinking, I wish for nothing to happen. After this, today's the first day of school at Sylvania. And in the class a professor is saying, it's a new semester, and I'm excited to see the students in a new, improved form and to see the work that has been done by Sylvania Academic Society. Roththaler is saying, however, on the very first day, I was almost expelled. I didn't expect Phinia to tell the dean about me. Though from the way that cranky old man is talking with a smile on his face, it doesn't look like she said anything bad. Anyway, I barely managed to avoid it. Let's be careful, so that the story doesn't stray from the original. Life skills honed for survival. And magic training appropriate for a student of the Faculty of Magic. To get the best of the combination of the two, there's no better weapon than a bow. As my life skills become more proficient, and I become able to create good quality arrows, I'll be able to cast spirit or magic formulas to the arrows. Though of course, spirit formulas are outside the realm of my talent. And when Roththaler looks ahead, he gets surprised, because in front of him a girl is sitting under a tree, and the name of this girl is Janica Faylover. Second year, top of the class, genius spirit sorcerer. Then Janica also sees Roththaler, and Janica says to Roththaler, so you're the amusing guy Marilda was talking about. And Janica comes close to Roththaler, and starts asking him, Roththaler, right? I'm Janica Faylover. I'm in my second year, same as you. You can call me Janica. And Roththaler is thinking, huh? When did she get all the way here? And Janica is smilingly saying to Roththaler, are you surprised? Because I know about you? You see, this forest is the territory of Marilda, a high-ranking spirit. I've heard a lot about you from her. Roththaler is surprised to hear Janica's words and he says, the master of this forest told you about me? Then Janica says to Roththaler, Marilda's kinda nosy. With her attention all over the place, it's obvious she'd know about an unwanted visitor, right? And Roththaler is thinking, unwanted visitor. I did kill a lot of them. I cut so many trees, too. And Janica starts coming closer to Roththaler, then she says, don't sweat the small stuff, it's the natural order of things for creatures in the forest to catch and eat each other. Marilda doesn't get bothered by something like that either. And Roth Taylor says, I guess even the huge wild wolf has a tender heart, huh? Roth Taylor turns his head to the other side, but Janica says smilingly, unexpected. Right. Janica further says, there's something I want to show you. Isn't it just cute and adorable? I signed a contract with him yesterday as soon as I saw him. Do you want to try touching him? And Janica moves her hand forward, and light is shining from her hand, seeing which Roth Taylor thinks, a contract? Is it a spirit? If I want to be friends with Janica, I just need to chime in at the right time, but… Roth Taylor tells Janica, I don't know what you mean. I don't see spirits. Or rather, I can't. And Janica gets shocked after hearing this, then she says, you can't see spirits? And Roth Taylor turns back, and starts leaving this place, and he says to Janica, yep. Anyway, I came here to get food, so I'll get going now. And Roth Taylor thinks, only by following the original storyline can I gain an informational advantage. Janica Failover, someone who holds significant importance in the original storyline, is someone I must never get close to. And Janica sees Roth Taylor going. She recalls Roth Taylor's words, then she says, it's just as you said, Marilda. He's a really fascinating guy. No matter how much I think about it, I think he really can see you. Who is he? Also, I tried so hard to be kind to him, but he just answers with yep. What's yep supposed to be? Well, it's not like we won't see each other again. I can just find out from now on, right? After this, Roth Taylor is telling, the distance between my shelter and the student area wasn't close at all. I barely make it in time, leaving at dawn and running at full speed. Just by commuting to school, I'm doing something ridiculous that increases my stats. If I want to win the scholarship, I'll have to study more diligently. I write on a stone slab using a burned stick and borrow books from the student library. On my way home, I wash my sweaty clothes for daily wear. You'd think I'm done for the day after that, but no. I have to check if I have enough firewood, drinking water, and jerky for tomorrow's lunch. I can only sleep for 4 hours because of this. But that's not what bothers me the most. Then Roth Taylor says to Janica, hey, how long are you going to keep following me? And Janica is surprised to hear this, and she says, huh? You knew? And Roth Taylor says, it'd be stranger if I didn't. Don't you know who I am? I'm Ed Roth Taylor. The worst hooligan to exist, Ed Roth Taylor. Why do you keep hanging around me? Then Janica tells Roth Taylor, well, that's other people's judgment of you, isn't it? I don't even know you yet. Roth Taylor gets a little surprised after hearing Janica's words, then he thinks, right. Janica Failover was this kind of character. She may look naive and dumb on the outside, but she's really independent-minded. However, knowing what's in store for her in the future, I just can't respond to her with a refreshing smile on my face. Because Janica Failover is the final boss of Act 1. She's the only character who smiles to Roth Taylor. I didn't want to go this far, but… And Roth Taylor is saying to himself, I'm a villain, I'm a villain. I'm a scumbag. Then Roth Taylor tells Janica, in that case, since destiny brought us together, can you do me a favor? Janica becomes happy after listening to Roth Taylor. Then Roth Taylor says to Janica, as you can see, I'm a mess. I've been disowned by my family, and I'm in a pinch. Can you give me some money? And when Janica hears this, she gets a huge shock. And Roth Taylor further says, I mean, it's not like I won't pay you back. That's what friends are for, right? I'm only borrowing it for a bit. How much do you have? Then Roth Taylor is telling, every year, Janica gets a scholarship for being the top of the class. But that doesn't just signify her excellence. Her background is so poor that without the scholarship, she can't enroll or advance to higher graduation in the school. The daughter in a small ranch, Janica. Her weakness is money. Janica is unable to say anything after listening to Roth Taylor, and so there is peace at this place for some time. Then Janica says sorry to Roth Taylor, and Roth Taylor is thinking, Janica Failover, cut out. After this 3 days have passed, and Roth Taylor is saying, I don't feel great about it, but I don't want to get entangled with the important characters anymore. Let's be careful. so that the story doesn't stray from the original. Then he comes near his house, and Roth Taylor is very tired, so he goes inside to rest. But as soon as he looks in front, he becomes very surprised, and he says, "What the hell?" In terms of importance, she's a character with an even heavier presence than Janica. The subject of marvel of her classmates, and even professors. The rare genius and the most powerful character of the failed swordsman of Sylvania. And a little girl is sleeping inside Roth Taylor's house. And the name of this girl is Lucy Merrill. And Lucy Merrill wakes up hearing Roth Taylor's voice. And Roth Taylor is thinking, why the hell is she sleeping here? What is she even doing in this mountain valley? Original storyline. Careful. Lucy Merrill says, "You're so loud that I can't sleep." And Roth Taylor is saying, "What should I do now?" And Lucy Merrill points a finger at Roth Taylor's back and says, "That wolf over there, which is as big as a house. It keeps talking to you." When Roth Taylor looks back, he is followed by a spirit wolf. And Lucy Merrill is telling Roth Taylor, "It's asking you to someday." And the spirit wolf says to Roth Taylor, "Save Janica at all costs." Then the next day, Roth Taylor is going towards the forest, and he is saying, "Lucy had only been at the camp for 2 days. Let's get to work. This won't lead to anything, right?" It didn't take me long to realize how complacent of a thought that was. After this the scene shifts, and we see that joint combat training is going on in the school. Joint combat training is literally a mock one-on-one combat exercise. To minimize the lethality as much as possible, the combat students mostly use fake weapons. Benevolent Princess Phenia. Golden Daughter Lortel. Spirit Sorcerer Janica. Slothful Lucy. Wicked Clebius. All of them are doing joint combat training. And Roth Taylor continues saying, "I could go on, and the list wouldn't end." Even so, the most important person is the protagonist after all. Failing Swordsman Taylor. Is Taylor's match next? I already know the results, so I didn't pay much attention to the matches. Because the winners of the duels in the joint combat training episode were the first-year students, the same as the protagonist, Taylor. Except for exactly one person. Then suddenly Janica comes to Roth Taylor, and seeing her, Roth Taylor is thinking, "I can't believe she's running all happily to me after going through the pathetic experience of me asking her for money." Unlike Lucy, who's from the cat family, there's no doubt Janica is from the dog family. And Janica is saying to Roth Taylor, "The list of matches is out." But Roth Taylor says, "I'm not really interested." Then Janica says, "Why? Aren't you curious about your match, Ed?" And then Roth Taylor remembers something, and he thinks, "Huh? Wait a minute. I have to fight as well?" Ed Roth Taylor in the original storyline was already expelled by now, so who's going to be my opponent? Then we see Taylor. Which is saying, "I shall perform, to the best of my ability." And seeing Taylor, Roth Taylor is thinking, "Yeah. Right now, it doesn't matter who I am fighting against. I need to pay attention to Taylor." Though it was from a world beyond the screen, I lived as a Taylor for so long. From miserable and vain bad endings to true endings that left long-lasting impressions, I completed that journey countless times. Among the countless routes, there wasn't a single route that wasn't arduous and difficult. I've already decided on taking care of my own life, but I'm cheering for you, Taylor. By the way. And then the announcement comes. I'm repeating the announcement. Lucy Merrill. Is there a student named Lucy Merrill? Please come up to the arena once you're ready for the practice match. Where did Lucy go? Then Lucy Merrill comes to the training ground, and seeing Lucy Merrill, Roth Taylor is thinking, "Ist year, top of the class." Lucy Merrill versus Taylor Mclore. The protagonist of this world, born to be a swordsman, has never held a sword before in his life. Yet, with the first swing of his sword, he cuts through Lucy's lightning-quick magic. The spell she had thought would obviously hit was blocked, catching her off guard, as Taylor closed the distance. Surprised, Lucy hits him with a lightning strike, an intermediate-level lightning magic. Taylor is then completely overpowered by the reflexively cast magic spell, but Lucy is disqualified for using intermediate-level magic, earning Taylor the honor of being the first to defeat Lucy Merrill. It was a legendary scene. Then the referee starts the match. And Taylor goes ahead to attack first. And Lucy Merrill creates a shield to stop his attack. And she easily blocks his attack, and throws Taylor away with another attack. Due to which Taylor gets hurt a lot, and Janica is surprised to see this, but Roth Taylor already knows this. And Lucy Merrill is saying to Taylor, "Huh? It's already over? I guess you can't win against the top of the class, huh? No wonder. What's the point of running at a mage like her barehanded?" And seeing this situation, Roth Taylor is saying, Taylor Mclore's life was always a series of trials. A country bumpkin and a failure of a student. An underachiever who hadn't gotten a single decent grade since he started school. A failure that wasn't acknowledged by anyone. While everyone jumped to conclusions regarding the match, in an outright wicked situation where they pitted him, even in the midst of all this despair, Taylor never lost hope. "That's right, man. You can do it." And Taylor again goes ahead to attack Lucy Merrill. And Lucy Merrill is surprised that Taylor is coming again to attack her, while Taylor is injured. And Roth Taylor is smiling seeing this, and he is knowing what is going to happen now. And he says, and here, Lucy will use lightning magic. But Roth Taylor gets shocked, because Lucy Merrill has used wind magic to stop Taylor's attack. And with one of her attacks, she generates very dangerous energy, due to which Taylor gets very shocked. And because of Lucy Merrill's wind magic, Taylor flies in the air, and goes far and hits the pillar. When Roth Taylor sees this, he becomes very surprised, and Roth Taylor is thinking, not lightning magic, but wine magic? The referee shouts that Lucy Merrill has won the match. And all the students are very happy, and Roth Taylor is looking at Taylor and saying that after all Taylor has lost? Then Taylor starts leaving from this place, and seeing him going, Roth Taylor is thinking, wow, this is going to be a big problem, we definitely can't leave him alone. Protection of the wind. Using the power of the wind spirit automatically protects you from sudden attacks. It's a continuous magic obtained through contracting with the high-class wind spirit Marilda. According to the scenario, Marilda and Lucy are originally two separate entities. Due to Lucy coming to my side, I ended up contracting with Marilda and becoming stronger because of it. The announcer announces, the next combat training will be between Roth Taylor and the respected Princess Fina Elias Kloll. But Roth Taylor is running fast from this place, and he is going to Taylor. But Princess Fina is coming from in front of him, and Princess Fina says to Roth Taylor, Roth Taylor, last time you... Roth Taylor does not listen to Princess Fina's words, and he is running very fast. And he is thinking, Taylor had to win. Picking up the sword, gaining confidence. However, in the end, lost because of me. Due to the existence of Roth Taylor in Sylvania. I don't know if this has any meaning, but it's better than just sitting still. Roth Taylor is shouting and saying, your efforts will definitely pay off. Don't feel so down. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. And Roth Taylor is thinking, if Taylor's heart is completely broken, there's a high chance that I will be forced to work hard in the end. And Roth Taylor says, walk proudly. You did good. It's just that the opponent wasn't a good match for you. Don't let something like this get you down. There'll be many more hardships that'll happen at the academy. You should be the one to face it, not me. And a man is saying, Phoenicia, you were born with God's blessing. And Roth Taylor is telling, the first person to discover her innate insight was Emperor Kloll. Her ability wasn't something given by some god. Insight detects the opponent's lies and conspiracies. The life of a royal is riddled with endless intrigue and conspiracy. From within that dark abyss, she developed this sense herself as a means of self-protection. That's why Princess Fiona can be confident about her ability. There was an ugly abyss in the eyes of the imperial family that looked up to Fiona. Even when she saw through them, the Princess of Love lived as if she didn't know. And Roth Taylor has come to the training ground to fight, and he is saying, please go easy on me. And Roth Taylor is thinking, she had no choice but to stare straight into this person. And Princess Fiona says, yes, please go easy on me as well. Then all the students start talking about Roth Taylor, and they all say, did you hear how he was yelling at Taylor? He's really persistent. Wow. Did he really want to make fun of someone who wasn't even able to do anything? He probably wanted to look like the nice guy by cheering on the person he was picking on. Wow, that's disturbing. He was that type of person from the start. And listening to those students, Princess Phineas is thinking, their words are correct. E.D. Rothstaler used his position to embarrass his juniors, and when it didn't work out the way he wanted, he was caught altering the test results. Shameless. He was sure to be like that in the past. But is that really all? Earlier that desperation was real. Then combat starts, and Princess Phineas says to Rothstaler, E.D. Rothstaler, "You confuse me. I want to come to a conclusion with this duel." And Princess Phineas gets ready to attack Rothstaler, and she has attacked Rothstaler with her magic, and her attack is going towards Rothstaler, and Princess Phineas is thinking, start. With 1. The magic that E.D. Rothstaler can use is wind and fire. How will you react to this? Shaking off everything while exchanging moves, a dramatic battle as a finale, getting rid of that mysterious man from my heart. And Princess Phineas' attack hits Director Rothstaler, and seeing this Princess Phineas gets very shocked, and Rothstaler falls away, and he says that I give up. And hearing this, Princess Phineas becomes even more surprised that how can Rothstaler accept defeat? And she's thinking, he didn't even block after seeing the trajectory of the water ball. Then because of Rothstaler losing so quickly, all the students start saying, wow, what was that? He's worse than Taylor. He was acting all cool, but he got knocked out with just a hit. You were so cool, Princess Phineas. That was really refreshing. Then Rothstaler tells Princess Phineas that it was a good fight. I learned a lot. And Princess Phineas is staring at Rothstaler, and she is thinking, that man. Now that I think about it after coming to this stage, he hasn't made eye contact with me even once. He had no interest in this duel in the first place. After this Rothstaler is running fast, and he is thinking, is now really a time to be playing duel? When coming in contact with Princess Phineas, it's best to act carefully, not letting it affect the scenario, because Princess Phineas is an important person in this scenario. But the person more important than Princess Phineas is the MC of this world, Taylor. Where did that punk Taylor go? But then Princess Phineas comes running near Rothstaler, and seeing her, Rothstaler also gets surprised, and Rothstaler says to Princess Phineas, what are you doing out here without any escorts? And Princess Phineas' face is sweating, but Princess Phineas is very angry at Rothstaler, and Rothstaler calms Princess Phineas down and says, I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you're talking about the duel, I learned a lot. But Princess Phineas gets very angry, and due to her anger Princess Phineas' face turns red. Then she says, what do you mean, I learned a lot? You didn't even intend to win in the first place. You were just thinking about how to quickly get off the stage. I'm already having a hard time keeping up with the class. But that fox-like merchant is only thinking about ways to take over the school, and Professor Glass's grumpiness isn't getting any better. All the while, the servants are always on about the ways of royalty. I have enough on my mind as it is. Who are you to complicate my mind even more? And after listening to Princess Phineas talking so much, Rothstaler is thinking, what? Did she really have this much pent-up frustration? Then Rothstaler places his hands on Princess Phineas' shoulders, and Rothstaler looks into Princess Phineas' eyes and says, Princess, take a deep breath and please calm down. There's no need for you to get so worked up. Breathe in and breathe out. And after some time Princess Phineas calms down, then she says, what happened just now, please forget about it. Then Rothstaler says to Princess Phineas, I can go now. Right. And Princess Phineas is saying, that's right, I have a bad habit. I can just bluntly ask questions, but I feel like I'm constantly trying to guess and predict what's going on in their thoughts. It's probably due to living in the palace for so long. But Rothstaler's ears start bleeding after listening to Princess Phineas' words. And he is thinking, first, let me go. I need to go find Taylor. And Princess Phineas further says, so I'll ask bluntly? You tried to cut off ties with your family because you know of their dark side, right? The reason you picked on Taylor is because you needed a reason to be expelled from the family. And listening to Princess Phineas, Rothstaler is thinking, that's pretty sharp deduction. although it's mostly wrong. The thought of the Rothtaler family having a dark side was correct. Then Rothtaler tells Princess Phinia, "No. I don't know what you're talking about." And Rothtaler is thinking, that's something you will look into far off in the future. It's too early right now. But Princess Phinia is getting very angry, and she is saying, "There's no way I'm wrong. It doesn't make sense logically." Then, just what were those words you yelled at Taylor? Why are you cheering on and supporting the person you were trying to get expelled? Did you never have a dislike for Taylor in the first place? And Rothtaler thinks those are some sharp questions. So what? Then Rothtaler tells Princess Phinia, "It's because I just wanted to make fun of him. You know, since everyone hates me. If I cheer Taylor on, people might see me in a different light." Something like that. And Princess Phinia is getting angry, and she is saying, "Anyone can tell that you're lying. Look into my eyes and tell me straight." And Princess Phinia figures out, with the help of her insight skills, that Rothtaler is lying, and Rothtaler is saying that I am telling the truth. But this is false, due to which Princess Phinia becomes more angry. And Rothtaler is thinking, she probably doesn't have evidence yet. And fire is coming out of Princess Phinia's mouth like a dragon. And Rothtaler is thinking, above all, going with the original scenario is my only hope. And after some time Princess Phinia's anger calms down, then she says, "Phew. Fine. I can't say anything as of now since I don't have evidence. You can go." Rothtaler is surprised to hear Princess Phinia's words. Then Princess Phinia asks Rothtaler to leave and she says, "You've been staring at the door from the start. You have something urgent to take care of, right?" Then Rothtaler thanks Princess Phinia and starts leaving this place, and he is thinking, this is the first time Phinia showed this side of hers. As someone who will affect the early scenario, she's already involved with so many people and events enough to give me a headache. It's probably my fault for being a new addition to the scenario. And Rothtaler, while leaving, says to Princess Phinia, "How could my burdens compare to the burden the princess carries? It might be a bit out offline, but you look really worn out. It's important to pay attention to the complicated politics, but you should also relax a bit. This place isn't like the place where you have to worry about every little thing. This is Sylvania Academy." Phiona lived her life trying to see through everyone's lies. But that was the first time someone else saw right through her. After this, Rothtaler is running again, and he is saying, "This is troublesome. I lost too much time. If Taylor gives up my comfortable life, no, this whole world might even end." And while running, Rothtaler reaches Taylor. And Taylor is very sad, and he is sitting with his broken sword. But as Rothtaler goes ahead, he stops and thinks, "So, but what should I say?" But before Rothtaler can say anything, a girl appears in front of him. And she refuses to let Rothtaler come to Taylor. Then she says to Rothtaler, Rothtaler, "No more. Don't bother Taylor anymore." And this girl's name is Isla Triss, main heroine. And Isla is saying, "Taylor's already having a hard time without you. You don't need to harass him anymore." Then Taylor stands up and says, "You're still in the school, huh?" And Rothtaler is thinking while looking at Taylor, he is revived. A fighting spirit that never falters no matter how strong his opponent is. A willpower that's clearly evident in his eyes. I see. While I dueled with the princess, his childhood friend and biggest cheerleader, Isla Triss, ran out the door right away without a single glance back. And Isla is saying to Taylor at that time, "You can get through it this time too. You've always been great at that. You can do it. Don't be discouraged by this, Taylor." And Taylor asks Rothtaler, "Why are you here? Do you have any business with me?" But Rothtaler is thinking, with Isla by his side, Taylor will rise to his feet again and again. And Rothtaler says, "You're great with the blade. I saw it again." "What are you? Shemming?" "That's right. I've seen through lots of experiences with Taylor, and been with him till the end." Then Rothtaler, while leaving, says to Taylor, "I don't have anything like that, dash." And Rothtaler is thinking, let's be honest. I thought he'd save the world, so I should just worry about surviving. I treat him like a pushover since he was the game's protagonist who'd do all the hard work instead of me, but right now, I'm relieved. Not because the story that strayed away from the original came back on track, but because Taylor, whom I was with for so long, is still okay. That's all I need. Seeing Roth Taylor leaving, Isla and Taylor say, "What the hell? Why is he acting like he's so cool?" Roth Taylor is saying, "Well, I can't avoid this though." And as Roth Taylor goes ahead, he hears some sound. And when he looks back, he sees a big bang. And seeing him, Roth Taylor says, "Is it that time already?" Originally, everyone was supposed to have witnessed this while in their seats at the Nail building. And two girls are fighting in the training ground, Golden Daughter, Lortel, and the spirit sorcerer Janica Feylover sparring. Though it's in a different form from the original, I'm sure Taylor and Isla are watching this scene. Keep your eyes peeled, Taylor, because one of the numerous trials approaching you, the Act 1 final boss, is Janica Feylover. And Janica would have won that match. And everyone surrounds Janica. And they are all saying, "Whoa! Congrats, Janica! Janica's the only one from our year who won against the new students. She's got a great personality, and she's great at spirit sorcery. What are you even bad at?" And Janica is saying thank you to all of them. But when she looks ahead, the person she fought with is deeply injured. And they are taking him in a stretcher for treatment. And Janica is looking at that girl, and Janica is shocked to see the condition of that girl. And she is not saying anything. Unlike in the original, Lucy defeated Taylor, and it all ended with the main character of the joint combat training, being Janica Feylover, who became the protector of the pride of the past enrolled students. Janica already had a lot of friends, but this incident will make things even more frantic for her. Well, it might just be for the better. I won't be seeing her at the cam anymore. When I get entangled with the main characters, my head starts spinning, already 2 weeks since the joint combat training. Without the main characters, I can go all in on my studies and survival without worry. I have a fishing net, so the food problem is somewhat solved. And Roth Taylor is looking at his state, and Roth Taylor is currently in underwear. And Roth Taylor is saying, "Is it because my stamina stats are increasing? Feel like my body's getting better. It's still too early to get lazy." And Janica is secretly watching Roth Taylor. And seeing Roth Taylor in underwear, Janica starts blushing, and she says, "Addition. Do you like being naked?" And Roth Taylor shouts at Janica and says, "What the hell are you talking about?" after suddenly showing up here. "I just came from fishing." After this, Janica is sitting near the fire, and Roth Taylor is saying to Janica, "What's so great about this place that you keep coming back?" And Janica says to Roth Taylor, "It's like a top-secret base. So I feel like an adventurer, and that's exciting. I want to talk to you a little more, and I need some advice too, I guess?" And Roth Taylor is wearing clothes. And listening to Janica's words he thinks, "Why me out of all people?" And Janica says, "You left early at that time, so you might not have seen it. But in the joint combat training last month, I hurt someone, you see." Didn't her opponent use an intermediate level spell? Intermediate level magic wasn't allowed, though. Well, that wouldn't be important for the good-hearted Janica. Then Janica says, "I keep trying to forget it, but maybe I did overdo it. I can't get rid of the thought that I overreacted. Should I apologize to her? Though my friends will stop me saying she did wrong first." And Roth Taylor tells Janica, "Then does that. If you think you're right." The lovely and bubbly second-year student, Janica, was a treasure to everyone, precious in every way. So if she ever felt guilty or self-critical, everyone would come forward to encourage her and take her side. But Janica knew that it's nice when someone has your back no matter what, but that doesn't erase the wrongs that were done. That's probably why she came to me. Then Janica says, "As expected of you, Edition. You never take my side unconditionally." And Roth Taylor says, "I can't help it if that offends you." And Janica says, "HM? No. You're misunderstanding. I don't feel offended at all." And Janica is thinking, that wasn't the type of guy he was last year. Janica may be the bubbly, smiley girl, but she was just as observant as the next person. Even when he asked for money during hard times, he didn't show the desperation that people usually have in such a predicament. This boy was indirectly telling her not to come close. But those sides of Ed, in fact, I find it reassuring. I wish everyone in the world was like you. Edition staying with me is a strange comfort. The next day. This is serious trouble. The Failed Swordsman of Sylvania is called a masterpiece, but very few people have seen its ending. Newbies especially encounter several bad endings early on. For example, if you save a girl during an ambush by kobolds in the class placement test, you will witness the secret of the Golden Daughter. She then sends someone to kidnap Taylor, and just like that, bad ending 3 Taylor has been assassinated. In the monster slaying practice episode, if you skip the childhood friend Isla and form a unit with the Golden Daughter, bad ending 7 Isla has fallen off a cliff to her death. That's because Taylor was supposed to rescue Isla, who had fallen off the cliff. If you protect the Golden Daughter from the fire spirit Tarkan, summoned by Janica, bad ending 3 Taylor has burned to death. Then someone says to Roth Taylor, Sr., can you not hear me? As soon as Roth Taylor hears this sound, he thinks, I must run. But that girl comes in front of Roth Taylor. And Roth Taylor looks at that girl and says, how long are you going to keep following me? Then the girl says, I didn't think you'd grit your teeth and ignore me for so long. And Roth Taylor is thinking, of course, I'm going to grit my teeth and ignore you. Isn't that obvious? The Failed Swordsman of Sylvania's 4th heroine, the business magnate Elp Ketchelm's only daughter. And this girl's name is Lortel Ketchelm, the Golden Daughter. And this girl smilingly says to Roth Taylor, I'd like to buy 2 hours of your time, Senior Edition. And Roth Taylor says about this girl, aka Newbie Crusher. And also let's end today's video here. If you want to see its next part, please subscribe to my channel. And also, the more you press the like button on this video, I will upload the next part as soon as possible. Till then, bye. See you in the next video.